This article is from the Washington Post, and it's appropriately titled, Crime Lab Scandal Rocked Kamala Harris's Term as San Francisco District Attorney. Begin quote. San Francisco, Kamala D. Harris was the city's top prosecutor running to become California's elected attorney general when a scandal stunned her office and threatened to upend her campaign. One of Harris's top deputies had emailed a colleague that a crime lab technician had become increasingly undependable for testimony. Weeks later, the technician allegedly took home cocaine from the lab, possibly tainting evidence and raising concerns about hundreds of cases. Neither Harris nor the prosecutors working for her had informed defense attorneys of the problems despite rules requiring such disclosure. Harris failed to disclose information that clearly should have been disclosed, Superior Court Judge Anne Christine Masulo wrote in scathing decisions in May 2010. Harris's opponent in the Democratic primary for Attorney General, former Facebook General Counsel Chris Kelly, said at the time that the ruling showed Harris had systematically violated defendants' civil and constitutional rights because her office hid damaging information about a police drug lab technician and was indifferent to demands that it accounts for its failings. Kelly declined to comment. So as you all just heard, Kamala Harris systematically violated individuals' civil and constitutional rights by hiding evidence. And in case, again, that this just went over your head, allow me to reiterate. One of Harris's deputies let a colleague know that a technician who was working for her took cocaine home from a lab illegally and tainted the evidence for hundreds of cases. So a lab technician took cocaine home and altered the cocaine in evidence. And this was reported to Kamala Harris. And instead of cracking down on this and letting individuals know, she hid this evidence. And as a result, people went to jail for this shit. People went to jail because this person altered evidence and framed people. And she knew this and didn't do anything about it. Now this begs the question. How many black people and how many Latinos went to jail and were falsely sent to jail when Kamala Harris knew about this shit?
What's your reaction to Kamala Harris getting the nod?
Well, I've spent most of the night going through her record as a prosecutor because, that's my greatest love and probably the thing I know the best of. And I have to tell you, she's one of the worst prosecutors I've ever seen. Her record is virtually schizophrenic. You could take half of her record and say she was very, very tough, too tough. 1,500 people in jail for marijuana, small little amounts of marijuana. 1,500 people in jail for marijuana, small little amounts of marijuana. Cases, I spent 16 years as a prosecutor, did many more important cases than she did. I never prosecuted a use marijuana case. She had 1,500 of them in jail. She helped produce the population that Donald Trump had to save with the prison reform. Oh, and by the way, her boss is the one who authored it. So this is really strange, Maria. He authors a bill that provides for mass incarceration of mostly blacks for minor crimes and disproportionately for the crimes they commit, not that whites commit. She takes advantage of it and boasts about it, and they're running as the progressive candidate. He authors a bill that provides for mass incarceration of mostly blacks for minor crimes and disproportionately for the crimes they commit, not that whites commit. She takes advantage of it and boasts about it, and they're running as the progressive candidate. On the other hand, if you look at her cases against judges, people with political influence, how about a case of a guy she let go and the guy committed murder a short while later? You got one of the most irresponsible, set 'em loose prosecutors like the ones we have that Soros is electing all over the country now. So she's everything to everybody. She's about as pandering as he is. She's changed her position so many times it's impossible to track it without a scorecard. And it's not unlike her boss, who used to be anti-abortion all his life. He was a Catholic. He was anti-abortion. And, 2 months ago, he changed completely. She's a co-author.
So you're saying no conviction, no principles.
With AOC. None. Zero. No, she had a lot of convictions. A lot of them were overturned, and she's also been accused of prosecutorial misconduct in withholding significant evidence of innocence, including for a man who was on death row. She's also been accused of prosecutorial misconduct in withholding significant evidence of innocence, including for a man who was on death row. At the same time, she's suspected of being involved in killing influential investigations and prosecutions for people who had political influence on her. At the same time, she's suspected of being involved in killing influential investigations and prosecutions for people who had political influence on her.
And lastly, if she's hiding and obstructing justice, shouldn't she have been arrested for this? Black people can get arrested for jaywalking, and you're telling me that this woman can hide and obstruct justice and not go to jail for it. See, this is what I'm talking about. These politicians are above the law. They can pretty much do whatever the fuck they want to do, fuck over your life, frame you, lie about it, and then don't go to jail for the shit that they do. And y'all out here voting for them. Y'all out here voting for these people who put you in the chains that you are in today.
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman.